If you have a 9x12 postcard business, or you're just starting one, or you're just looking for a side hustle to get you thousands in a month, then you need to watch this video because I had the most incredible interview with one of our group members who made probably around 5 grand this month in his first month ever selling out a 9x12 postcard. And he taught so much. I learned a ton from this interview because he's come up with so many cool strategies and tactics over this month to get him to the point where he's at, where he actually already has 75% of his advertisers renewing with him for his next card. So he basically has to do like no work for his next card already. So get your popcorn because this is gonna be a good one. And if you don't know what the 9x12 method is, here's a quick spiel about what it is. I call it the 9x12 method. This is where you sell advertising slots on a large postcard to local businesses. And the card is 9x12 inches, hence the name, the 9x12 method. It's actually a pretty cool community builder because it allows local businesses to actually be able to afford mail marketing because they actually split the cost of marketing. And at the same time, you benefit by bringing the businesses together because you make around 4 grand profit just for coordinating it. The card is mailed to 5,000 households in the community. But imagine if you do this in 2 separate towns. That's 8,000 a month. Now let's get to the interview.
All right, Michael, thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming on. I've been looking forward to this for a very long time.
Yes. Hi, Mitchell. Nice to be here.
Obviously, you're like the #1 member of our community. You're always putting out tons of information. I was looking at the timestamps and I joined school on January 26th and you joined 5 days after me. And I think you're one of the only OGs who's been here since the start and is still spreading tons of really good information. Obviously, there's people who have been here that are selling out cards, but they aren't really talking in the group. But you've been here since day one, so it's pretty cool. Still #1.
I love giving the information and helping whoever I can. You know, it's a great business, Mitchell, and you've got a great community here. So it's really nice to be part of that. You know, I've been in the internet for many years and look for all different kinds of ways to do things, right? And I came across you when you were on Jake's show and instantly went to your school, and the value was incredible, and the community we have here is second to none. So great job on your part getting this put together.
Absolutely. Well, it's thanks to people like you that actually make the community thrive. So I appreciate that. And you look good. You
I
look
appreciate that too.
you look one postcard richer. How's it feel?
You know, I can tell you that in the beginning it was a little bit of a struggle, but let me tell you that my very first mindset was I can do this. And as long as I kept that in my mind and I set my goals, you know, it all worked out, and I knew it was going to work out. And so as long as you have that in your head that you know that you're going to get this accomplished and have fun with it and get out to those businesses and talk with them, you know, and I was kind of afraid of that at first, but I went with the email tactic because that's how you were first explaining it. And you know, email works. I have quite a few that I got from email, and I got quite a few actually just going to the businesses and really having fun talking to them about this and letting them know the opportunity that they can have with this. And once they realized that, it was, you know, it worked out really well. And as far as phone calls, I did a few of that. So I did those 3 strategies to get the card filled up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's I started out so the way I always did it was email. So the way I started out teaching it was you can email, and that's really all I knew. So it's been great to see you succeed in door to door. You were like the first person in our group who was absolutely killing it with the door to door going actually to the businesses. And you actually came up with a pretty good strategy for that with a packet that you put together. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, yeah. So I put together, it's a folder, and I have my business name on it and what's inside. It's the info pack, the famous info pack. But what I have inside then is I print an 8.5 by 11 card, just on regular photo paper, and that's what I was able to show them with some of them that I already had on the card, and told them, hey, this is a big 9 by 12 postcard. This is just a sample. So then what I also did after talking with them, obviously they're going to say, hey, what's the price and all that, but uh, the info pack generally has, hello business neighbor, this is all about me, just a write up on what I'm doing here and the opportunity that they can have for and my card's called the West Bend Spotlight. Um, I give them some more exciting news to share of upcoming things that I'm going to do as far as selling business cards and flyers and banners and business signs out front. They all like that. So that's in my info pack. I have my pricing sheet in the info pack that shows my different size ads actually on the card or on the page, the size of the ads, and then the pricing. Um, I do sway a little bit on the pricing, to give kind of a deal. It depends on how the conversation goes and if they're going to pay me right before I leave.
Yeah.
And then this was from Nicolette. She put a thing together talking about billboards and all this other stuff, and then our advantages of having the 9x12 card. So that's in every one. So shout out and thank you to her. And
Nicolette,
then
we
I
miss
also
you.
have a custom apparel too. So I put this all together with an order sheet where they can order, hats, shirts, jackets, that type of thing. So that's all in my info pack. But what's really nice now, Mitchell, is the card that I have now. Finally got that first one out there and everything. So now I have that ammo to go for the summer mailer. And I only do this 4 times a year, and I am going to scale it because I do want to get to 4 or 6 cards out of a year with different areas. I had to scale back a little bit because I started another business with my brother. So we're kind of working on that. And then I'm a design engineer for a large healthcare organization. So taking my time and putting it in different places. But the postcard thing is what really really got me in to know that these side hustle things really do work, and it's just been an incredible journey.
Yeah, incredible. You're obviously super busy, or you're working on
Yeah.
three different things right now. I'm curious, how did you originally find out about the 9x12 postcard method?
It's really funny because I was just thinking one day, I'm looking out in my backyard, and my wife was talking about, we have to get these bills paid and this and that. And, I'm thinking, okay, there goes half the paycheck and blah, blah, blah. And and then like the next day, I'm on YouTube just scrolling around, listening to some music and stuff like that. And that's where Jake came on. And all of a sudden it was there. So I clicked on it and I started watching him. I procrastinated for a while. It was probably 2, 3 months. I was watching a lot of his videos. And then even his older stuff where he had his shorts in there, So I was watching some shorts that he would do. Basically just listening to everything he had to say about it. And it intrigued me. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But I just never jumped in and actually, did the call to action for it. And then I seen your interview, and it was like, you showed up your school, your paper there of where to join, and I went right to it. And as soon as I seen it and I seen the platform and I seen what you put out there for value, I knew it was going to be something really big. And so I said, I'm going to help support Mitchell in this, and I'm going to be in there and give my value as I, learn the journey as well. And so that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome, and I appreciate that. And shout out Jake, High
Yeah.
Response Marketing. He's the reason I'm here
Yes.
right now too. So definitely shout out him.
Yes.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's watching this.
Absolutely. He probably will. He said he would. He emailed me back and said that he'd like to do an interview with me as well. So that's pretty cool. That was
That's
one of my
awesome.
goals, was get an interview with you and get one with Jake.
You're on a little interview run. Nice. That's what happens. They say that
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
happens when you get famous. People just keep calling you for interviews. You said you're in your career, and then you're starting another business, and you're doing the 9x12s. What do you see for the future? Are you seeing which one works the best, and you're going to go that direction, or you kind of just
Nope.
going with all three?
It's all three gonna be going. Yep. Yep. All three of them. You
Cool.
bet.
Yeah. Now,
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, what do you price your ad slots at, and how many cards were you mailing out?
Absolutely. I mail out 5,000. And what I do is on the 2x3 ads, I price that at $249. The 4x3s I have at $449, and my 4x6 is $849. And I have no complaints with those prices. I was going to do the 500,000 like you do. I just, in where I live, that, you know, going a little bit under those marks was really what I felt it needed to really give value. Now, I did have people say, well, what about more than 5,000 cards? Well, sure, I could do 10,000 cards, but the price that you're seeing here isn't going to stay that price. It's going to be a little bit more. But But I stuck with the 5,000 right now, and maybe I'll go to 10,000. We'll see and adjust the pricing for that.
Yeah, makes sense. And were you profitable?
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
It's-
Still money in that bank account for the postcard. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome. Yeah,
I'm just gonna say we're going on a trip on Sunday, so it paid for some of the trip that we're gonna go on. So that we're excited.
that's awesome. Well deserved.
What was your question again, Mitchell?
So when's your next card going to be?
Thank you. So the next card is going to go out, and I always put a little buffer in there. So the first card I said between March 20th and April 10th, and April 10th is when it actually got to the mailboxes. So I met my goal, and I like to put those goals out there, but I like to leave that little buffer in there just in case you have a business or two you that maybe failed to follow through or whatever. So next card is going to be June 20th to July 5th.
Awesome. Awesome. So you have a little bit of time to fill it up. And have you started filling it up already? Do you have a lot of repeat customers from the last card?
Yes, yes. So here's what I did. I did a spin to win. So I put everybody's logo on a spin wheel, and I think you might have seen Jake use the spin wheel already.
Mhm.
So I definitely put them all on the spin wheel, and then I did a Amazon gift card for first place. I did a grocery card at a grocery store locally here for second place. I did a gas card from a local gas station that there's a lot of here in my area. And then I did a bonus $20 credit towards the summer ad, and so that was pretty cool. And yeah, they loved it. They I asked them all if they wanted something like that after they would buy the ad, and yeah, they liked the idea. So it was really fun, and I recorded it and I sent them the link to it so that they could all see it and see who won and everything. And then you know just showing my gratitude. It wasn't a lot of money. I took $100 and just split it up and did this little spin to win. But and then after that, I would, go to the businesses, give them a postcard, and then say, hey, what are you thinking about for the summer mailer? And I think I have probably 75% staying on the card.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
75%.
and
Wow.
I have some emails that came in that I got people just waiting to get on this card. They can't wait to get on it. So I'm hopefully I got some space for them. Not that I want anybody to drop off the card, but I've had somebody, the barbershop on the card. She's going to stay on for a year. The landscape, one of the landscape ones for supplies, she's staying on for sure, summer and fall yet. So I mean, I have people that are staying on this card, and it's pretty neat. I have a power sports place where they have UTVs and motorcycles, snowmobiles, wave runners. They're going to stay on pretty much the whole year. I can show you the card, Mitchell.
Let's see it.
So I have this is the front, and on the front here I have a restaurant right in the middle on the big ad. So it's funny, to talk about that one is I told my wife one day, I said, well, after work, I'm stopping at this restaurant, and it's one that we frequent quite a bit. And I says, and I'm getting them on the card, and they're going right in the middle on the biggest spot, right in the middle. And they
That
did,
worked out.
so it was pretty cool. My first one was the Culligan guy, and he's the guy that gives me all those business cards.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you remember that. Yeah, he did
Yeah.
that twice. He was my first one. He came in through an email right away. He just like, yep, I want on it. There was no worries with him. So Casa Tequila was in person. I have an Lumen's auto repair. I emailed him. He came back and said, no, I got it. He was just opening up. And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm running a different channel. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Contacted him once more, said, hey, the card's almost full. Just want to give you one last opportunity. He turned it down. But then I seen that he opened up and he lives real close to me. So I just stopped in with the postcard of what I did have done already. And I walked out of there with him getting on the card. So, a lot of times you just got to go back and follow up. Even if they say no, follow up, show them what you got and believe in what you got. I
Yeah.
got a Glass Doctor on here. And Glass Doctor, they're a brand new business. He had no problems getting on the card whatsoever. I have my second guy on was the Lucky Otter Painting. He just a wonderful painter, and he just contacted me and says, "Hey, I love the spin to win. It was so fun, and thanks for doing that. You really go the extra mile, and and make sure that I'm on the summer card because I want to be on it. And so she's staying on. The coach works. I had a different car on there, and then he sent me a picture of Camaro. He says, "Now I want my Camaro on there." So that one was actually going right to the business. This Wappy Bricks, he's a toy store for Lego. He buys, sells, and trades with Lego. And yeah, I walked in there on a Friday. Actually, got him from email, and then he wanted to visit me because he just wanted to make sure I was real. Because a
Yeah.
lot of them didn't think I was real, and I had that in a couple different spots here.
And
So
he
he said,
visited
"Well, I
you?
don't want to commit today."
He came
So
and
I
visited you?
visited him.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
went and visited him
Yep.
on a Friday, but he's like, "I don't want to commit just because you walked in my store, but I'll let you know on Monday." And Monday, then he bought the ad. Um, Chinatown, yeah, they were great. They got right on it. They didn't. So, well, we really don't want a coupon on there. We've been here for 30 years, but yeah, we'll put our name out there, you know. So that was cool. Then I have a Shiny Ink Lounge. She does real fine line tattoos, just a beautiful job on tattoos. So she loved to get on the card. On the back here, I got a place called Skinny Vic's. It's a really cool diner. She put some coupons on there. Fuel Power Sports. They did the big ad, and I designed all these in Canva. And I've worked with Microsoft PhotoDraw in the past, but Canva was all new to me.
Hmm.
And I was even watching your videos on how to do some things in there. But once I got rolling with this, I realized that we can really design some cool stuff. And I did this all from scratch. So I would pull stuff from websites and get all this in here, and then I'd throw it all into the one part on the 4x6 template, and then I would just add another template so I could just jump back and forth and pull stuff in. But I
Yeah.
would throw a bunch of stuff on one of them and then bring it into the next one and really play around and position things. And it was really, really fun to design. I just love designing these things. I got
Yeah.
a Moz Jewelers on here, a great jeweler. He's seen it right away. And yeah, I walked in with that one. He didn't respond. He didn't think I was real. But once I got there, um, in a little boutique, I walked right into there and got that one. The Blades Barbershop, I did this ad here. I mocked it up. So sometimes I was mocking up ads and then going to the businesses. And I had some
Hmm.
rejection on that. I mock up a really cool ad like the night before saying, "Oh man, they're going to do this for sure," and get in. And it was just like a no.
Yeah.
So that does happen, and you just got to take those no's and walk out and just know that the next guy could be a great prospect and get on the card. This landscaping guy here, I revisioned this one 7 times, so it was a challenge because he then, I want a house in the background, I want a deck on there because I build decks, and it was a bunch of redesign work, so that one took some time, but that came from email. And then the East Side Landscape, that was a call. I called her, and she got on there right away too. So yeah, I mean it's been awesome, just awesome.
That's great. And you clearly learned so many things with the whole prospecting. Like you seem to figure out the best way to do at least two of the different strategies, email and door to door. You were succeeding at both of them. With email, I remember you were posting about using the Chrome extension so you could actually see who read your email. What Chrome
Yeah,
extension was that?
that was Snov.io, SONV.io. It was just to be able to track so that when I seen who was opening it, that's the person I want to get to for the second email. So even though I wasn't getting responses from those opens, I could see that they at least read it. And the ones that didn't open it, I just put them into another folder. Like, you know what, they just didn't open the email, and maybe they'll do it in a week from now. I don't know. But when I went back to those folders, it was still a lot of those, even to this day, just didn't open it. So I just follow those people that open those emails. And after about the third attempt, I would get response, pretty good response, about 40% response on the third attempt. A lot of them would say no. Um, but then a lot of them on the third time that I seen them opening all the times, I was okay. Now I got something to go to business with and say, hey, I've been emailing you. I just don't know if you've been seeing it or not. Maybe it went to your spam folder. I'm not sure, but here's what I'm doing. And, that was working too. So that's a little strategy that, people can pick up on if they want to. It's a good little nugget that just get out there and don't be afraid to go in and talk to them, be yourself and know you can get it done.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're not wasting your time going to them after one email because even if you go into their store after you send one email, they might not remember your email. But if you've emailed them 3 times in a row, they might still ignore you because you're just a salesperson on the internet still. But as soon as you go into the store, They remember who you were
Yeah.
because you've been spamming them, not spamming them, but you know,
Yeah.
you message them a few
Yeah.
times, so they remember you. But now you're an actual human, and they're seeing your face, they're hearing your voice. It's
Yeah.
completely different. So all their
Yeah.
guard goes down. How
And it's
many?
hard. It's hard. It's hard to go into a business. The first couple are just like, all right, I got to get out of the truck and I got to go in here and do this. So I know how everybody feels but once you get into a couple of them, get a couple of those no's, get out of there. Leave them behind. Go to this next one. Say, okay, I'm going to get this next one on here, and just go in there with that confidence and just have fun with it and just relax when you're in there and don't try to think of what I'm going to say next or whatever. You just go with the conversation that you're having, and every conversation's different.
Yeah. And I noticed, so there's a lot of people in our group and a lot of people in the whole 9 by 12 atmosphere who kind of suffer from analysis paralysis, and they're just trying to learn everything possible, which is good, but it's kind of a way to, avoid action. So how long do you think it took you before you took action from when you learned about the 9 by 12 method to when you actually sent your first email or walked into your first door?
Okay, so that's a great question, Mitchell. And I think you remember in the beginning of this, I was like, I got to have a website, and Nicolette was the same way. I was kind of following her strategies, and listening to what she was doing, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. You got to get that website and this and that, and you don't have to, because the website didn't do. To be honest with you, it didn't do nothing at that point. Um, I do have about probably 1,500 visitors that did go to my website. Some of them obviously from the community that we have. But I don't think you need the website to get this going. You just got to get out there. You got to do it. You don't have to have, people are like, well, I get my payment plans and all this and that. Just get out there and do it. Just call to action. Go do it. That's
I
what gets it done.
totally agree.
You figure everything else, as you're moving along, you figure everything else out.
You learn so much faster by doing than you do by learning. It's insane. So when I first found out about the 9 by 12 postcard method from Jake, I 10 minutes later sent my first, I think it was a Facebook message, and I posted on Facebook, and I had, I think, 3 or 4 sales my first day. And it's probably
Nice.
the greatest thing I ever did was to just take action and not try to learn every little thing, because there's a lot of rabbit holes that you can go down, and it's distracting. And a website
Yeah.
definitely is one of the things that is not necessary at first, because most people aren't going to ask you for a
Right.
website. When you're trying to scale and build a brand, and you're trying to leverage that brand to scale further, then a website's helpful, because then you can start writing blog posts and things like that. But at first, you definitely don't need a
Yes.
website to make some sales.
Yeah.
That's for sure. What would you say was your biggest
Yeah.
regret?
And not starting sooner. It was 2.5 weeks there that was just trying to get all that stuff into place. And I think the info pack was a good thing to work on. I enjoyed working on that, and it was very helpful because I have, 150, 200 of those out there at businesses. So that did definitely help. Um, but yeah, I regret just not jumping in right away like you did the first day. I should have just done it right away as soon as I joined our community here.
Yeah. Well, luckily you went quicker than most, so that's good. And now you sold out your first card. How many hours per day would you say you actively did serious work on this business?
Well, it would be my lunch hour for my day job, lunch hour I would take, and that would be when I make my calls. And I did have people from actually out of town that called me, and they've heard through other people that I was doing this. And I wouldn't put them on my card because it was like, well, no, you're not local to the area. Well, I drive into that town and do, yeah, but I want to be local with everybody and give those people a chance. So I had to turn a couple people down that way. Um, I mean, it's just been an experience, Mitchell. It's been wonderful.
Do you have any secret scripts that you figured out, or any scripts that were successful
No,
for you?
I used your scripts. Your scripts as far as email, it was just the question for the subject line and your couple lines in there, and I used it and it worked. I didn't really tweak much at all from that. Very little every night. I would split test some things. I would say, okay, we're going to put Mitchell's here, and then at the same time, I'm going to do 15 that are going to say this, and then let's just split to see who's opening and who's responding. So I did a lot of email testing,
Mhm.
One that I did find that works good, Mitchell, that worked as good as yours was there was somebody that's, and I don't know if they're still in our community. They were out of the country doing a card in the United States, and he was doing a picture of 5,000 cards on a table, and he was sending out just hey, if you want to get on a card, I'm sending this out to 5,000 people on the picture of that. So
Mhm.
that got a very good response. Yeah. Once they
Yeah.
see that many cards sitting on a table.
And are you saying you posted that on Facebook or you emailed that?
So I would email that, and I was thinking, well, maybe this is going to go to spam and that, but they all were opening it, so
Oh,
I was able to make the attachment and not go to spam.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
surprised by that, but that's good. That's cool that worked out.
yeah,
Good to know.
yeah. And then
Um,
when I was doing split testing, I would also go on to ChatGPT to make sure that any spam words were taken out and rewritten. So, um, but
that's smart.
generally, your script is what worked the best.
Well, so you're telling me all these people are coming up with all these fancy things, and all you did was copy and paste, and you sold out a card. Crazy,
Yep. Yep. Now
crazy.
I didn't do the BCC thing either, because the BCC thing didn't quite work right for me. So I just individually did them, sent them out individually. It took a little more time. Um,
Hmm.
but as far as back to your question, I didn't answer your final question is how much time I actually put into it. So at lunchtime, it was, get the calls made. And then 5 o'clock, I was done with my day job. So I had from like 5 to about 6:15 at night to get to some businesses that were just closing.
Hmm.
And then as far as design work, I did probably from come home, eat dinner after that, 7:30 at night, and some 8 o'clock at night, probably till like 11:30 at night for doing a bunch of the design stuff.
Yeah, and that design stuff
That was the fun part.
wasn't every day, but it was mostly like towards the end when you had a lot of the slots sold out.
Actually, I pretty much designed as I went along. I
Okay.
kind of did both, so I didn't have to design a whole card at the end. I just filling in the spots and getting the designs completed. A little bit of time it takes to send that out to the people, and because I would send them an email saying, "Hey, here's your proof.
Mm.
Send back with approved." And I do have that approval sheet. I think I showed that to you or sent it to you about getting it approved, and then I'm not responsible for a color that looks a little different and all the other stuff in there. The ad approval sheet.
Yeah, yeah. You
So I
did
did that
a short about that.
yeah, yeah. And so I also just sent it an email as well. Just please send back with your business name, your business address, number, and approved. So at least I had, know that, yep, you say I seen it, it's done, I'm good, I approve it. There you go.
Yep.
So then I
That way,
can put it
there's
on the card.
no liability. They can't ask you for a refund because you spelt their name wrong or anything like that. Smart.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
Do you have any pointers for people who aren't very confident with design? Because I've seen your designs and they're pretty good for. I thought you had a background in design when I saw your designs, but I just learned that you were brand new to Canva. So, do you
I
have any
was brand new
pointers?
to Canva, but I did do Microsoft Photo Draw since 2000. So I've designed quite a few things. I've had several businesses since 2000. So I
Okay.
would design all my marketing. So I did have design background, and Microsoft Photo Draw is very much like Canva. Does a few things differently. So Canva was a little more getting used to, but just navigating around it and learning it. But I learned Canva probably 2, 3 days. I was able to do some pretty darn good ads. And then I just kind of came up with a style, like, and I can recommend this because I see a lot of different people designing a lot of different things. But like, let's say, the auto body place. I always put the colors from the website. I grab them from the website. So in his, he's got Coachworks in red. So I put the red line across the top, as you can see, and here's the blue. And then at the bottom, and I do a little black line with the bottom as far as the QR code and then the information down there. So I kind of follow that same thing as you can see on here. Most of the cards have that. Now, I just did pick up a nugget from one of Jake's videos about putting the backside card ads on the coupons on the top and the front side on the bottom. I
Hmm.
just make sure that when you flip the card, that it's okay, that it's not going to take away from anything on the other side.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good strategy too. But I just make sure that yeah, they're not going to cut out another person's coupon.
Yeah. And how involved do you usually get in their their process of deciding on what to offer? Do you make recommendations, or do you just let them decide and you just design what they want you to design?
I sit down and I do talk to a lot of them, and go over it with them and talk about, I'll show them their first mock-up or send them first mock-up, and then they'll tell me what they want to change. I don't push coupons. I do at the restaurants because I want the card sticky, right? So I don't push a lot of that. And a lot of people, like, there's a lot of them don't have coupons on here, but I have a restaurant here that has coupons on it. And then I have the restaurant here that's got the coupons, and the Culligan water guy, he's got some coupons on there. The automotive guy's got one on there. And then, here's a $10 off one, but the rest of them, no.
Yeah.
And I don't push that if they don't want to. It's just, as long as we have a good looking card that does have some stick to it, then that makes me happy. And I tell you what, I've already seen it on people's refrigerators.
That's awesome. And you're getting
Yeah,
calls, and it's selling itself, right?
absolutely.
What would you say was the hardest part about this entire process? Because you've made it seem pretty buttery smooth, but there must have been some hard parts other than starting out.
The hardest part, I think, Mitchell, was getting over the no's. It was when you get those first few no's. I had one guy, I had a beautiful ad, and it was just looked at me and just gave me this look like, no, just, and didn't want to talk to me, didn't want to do anything with me. And that's fine, but that's hard. When you're putting all your soul and your effort into this, and then you have that happen to you. It took me a couple days for that guy's, just to get him out of my mind. And as long as you can learn just to let it behind you and move forward, and knowing that there is businesses that are waiting for you to get to them to get on the postcard. Once I put that in my mind, then that was the hurdle, though, was getting over the no.
Yeah, 100%. Every no is one step closer to a yes. You just got to keep reminding yourself
That's
that.
right.
And
That's
we're
right.
we're providing so much value, and not everybody's going to see that. But I mean, the value is not qualitative, it's quantitative. Like, think about Anderson Windows. Everybody knows Anderson Windows because they send you mail. That's the only reason you know Anderson Windows, because they send mail. So we know that mail works, and they spend thousands of dollars to go to thousands of homes. Whereas we can send you into people's mailboxes for $500 to $900. For you, it's $450. It's a quantitative value. Like, there's no doubt about it. So
Absolutely.
if people don't see that, then that's on them. Move on.
That's right.
Do you think you're going to change anything in your process for next time? Honestly, it sounds like you're already done with next time if you have 75% of the cards sold out. So what's your plan for the next card? Are you just going to lounge around for a bit?
I'm actually I'm going to be doing a lot of work with my brother in the new business, which is already going very well. So, um, but yeah, I feel I'm going to have to get back out there, because some of the people are going to drop off. It's not going to be everybody staying on it. So I'll have to get out there and get a couple ads, put back in. But I'm just going to hit the emails that are on my wait list, and they're waiting to get on the card. So I probably don't have to do a lot of effort. I think by doing the spin to win was a great thing. It shows that the gratitude that I have for the people that are on the card. I specify that it's you're in the spotlight. So you just, persuasive words really work too. So you're in the spotlight, you're being remembered, you're being noticed. It's just putting those special words in there for them, I think, was a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the spin to win. I definitely put the link in there for the spin to win that I had.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw it. It's cool because,
Yeah.
I mean, no marketing agency or anybody, no one's doing something that personal and doing giveaways with the businesses. So you're just showing that you care about them. They already paid you. Like, you could just run away with their money, but you're coming back to them with a spin to win. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And clearly they
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Yep. I have a wait list. One guy is an HVAC guy, and he reaches out to me, every 4 or 5 days, and I keep telling him, I said, I'll let you know when I'm going to be doing the summer card.
Wow.
Got some service businesses that are coming. An electrician that's very interested, that wants to get on them. And I don't have a lot of service type. These are all, brick and mortar places that I actually went to. Besides, like the landscape guy, he's a service guy. As far as the service people, we got the Culligan guy. He's a service guy, and then the automotive place, obviously. But well, that's a brick and mortar as well. But so yeah, a lot of brick and mortar.
Yeah,
So I'm
well,
going to
that's
try to
great.
focus a little bit more on the service guys. Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, I would say the service people are the businesses that are on average going to be more likely to renew. So if you were already able to sell the harder businesses to sell on this, the service businesses who already do the mail marketing and see the value will be even easier. But I can see how
Yeah.
you sold the brick and mortars because you were doing mainly door to door, and it's hard to go door to door with
Yeah.
the service businesses.
Yeah.
How are you
Yeah.
keeping track of your
Absolutely.
leads and everything?
I was using the spreadsheet, but now I use the CRM. So
What's CRM?
congratulations on putting that together. Yeah, your CRM, buddy.
What do you think of
Yeah,
it
it
so
works
far?
really well, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You did a great job getting it put together. Um, Everything seems to work very well, and yeah, I love it. I love it, and I think everybody in the community that gets it will love it too.
Great. I'll pay you for the ad at the end of this video. But
Yeah.
and you were a beta tester, so you helped us really tighten things up and get it ready for the market. So it's
Yeah,
come a long
yeah, that's
way,
good.
that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great tool to have in the arsenal. That's for sure. Good to have.
There's so many confusing softwares out there, including one that I was recommending because it was the one that I was using. But I saw it as a problem because it was just adding to the analysis paralysis, where people would just spend weeks trying to learn the CRM that 90% of the features don't even matter for our business. So I just want to build something that has everything a
Yeah,
9x12 needs and nothing that they don't. Although we have some pretty exciting features coming down the pipeline. So
can't wait.
if we could end this call with just one last piece of advice for somebody who just this is their first video, this is their first time learning about the 9x12 method, and they're going to go watch some of my other videos after this. But one last piece of advice for those brand new people, what would that be?
That's going to be take action. Don't be afraid to take action. Get out there and just do it. Just take action.
I love it. And you guys heard it from the king of 9x12s, Michael Hager. I
Thanks,
appreciate it.
Mitchell.
Thank you for being on here.
Absolutely.
Look, guys, a lot of the scripts, techniques, and things that Michael was referring to in this video are in our course and community of over 2,600 people. So if you want to join that community where you can get a step-by-step roadmap on how to sell out your first card like Michael did, and have the support of 2,600 people to ask questions and to message and just get expert advice, then the link is in the description to join. And I'd love to see you there. I'm rooting for you guys. Peace.